What does freedom mean to you? Does it mean the freedom to choose? The freedom to have a family and raise your kids according to your own values? What about living a wild, adventurous life, experimenting with music, relationships, or art? What does freedom really mean? What if freedom meant something that only a few Americans still understood? What if it meant that your choices and your values were set by you, rather than by some politician in a far-off capital? Some people think we're only free to choose to live exactly how they live, by their moral code, or their narrow worldviews. But if liberty means anything, it means that you, and you alone, have the power to exercise your rights to which the laws of nature and nature's God granted you. It's time to put these principles back into action. It's time to restore the American dream, activate in our communities, and take our country back. It's time to wake up, America. Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at Wake Up America Show. Today is Family Friday. You know what that means? That means I would like to introduce to those who don't already know, my lovely wife, Stephanie Petersen.
Wait.
Family matters. I got all my family with me. It's going to be a great show today. Steffi, glad to have you in studio. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Space here.
Yes, we have a lot more space so that you can enjoy, spread out a little bit.
It's a little chillier, so I'm not as cozy.
Kind of cold in here today,
Yes.
but that's
my happy light.
yes,
So I'm feeling lots of serotonin.
for sure, for sure. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. Happy Friday. Since it's Family Friday, not only do we have the lovely Stephanie Petersen, but guess who else we've got today?
Another family member.
JP, Justin Petersen, Petersens and Petersens and Petersens. But no SONs today. We
That's
leave that
right.
to Tuesdays and Thursdays. We mess with the dirty SONs. We've got a great show for you today. First up at the top of the program, an article that I was reading yesterday I thought was perfect for my lovely psychotherapist wife.
Yes.
Aging men and irrelevance. 41, getting ready to hit 42 years old, and so I feel a little bit of that middle-age angst as you sort of like climb towards that time of your life, the final frontier, if you will, and asking, the end is coming, and the question is how will you deal with this, right, in your sort of mental capacity, because it's a struggle, right? How do you develop when people are no longer interested in you, when people no longer care what you have to say, as you sort of fade into irrelevance? This is an anxiety that a lot of men feel. I mean, women feel it too.
Absolutely, with the empty nest syndrome and all the kids go away, and then you say, okay, what's my purpose now?
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that a little bit in the top of the show this morning. And then after that, Kevin McCarthy, newly elected speaker, promises to cut spending.
Is he going to keep those promises? I don't know that many politicians do.
I completely 100% believe Kevin McCarthy, don't you? What?
I only believed you.
Oh,
You were running for office. Nobody else.
I know. She believed me. Thank goodness. Like, you fool. You can text the show today at 573-319-1586. You can also send us super chats over on the YouTube live stream. If you're watching us over on YouTube, by the way, don't forget to hit the live chat, because it always switches you to top chat, because YouTube thinks that it knows better what comments we want to see
Sure.
rather
it's like,
than
let's filter it out for you.
yeah, no, we don't need that.
I wonder what comments it really does filter out. I've never looked at the difference between the two.
It filters out some good ones. So we want to make sure that you get to see all of the comments. So hit that live chat instead of top chat. And let's continue on with introducing the topics that we've got today. At 7:51, apparently toxic masculinity is out of style.
I don't know about that.
Thanks to men wearing skirts.
You're not convincing me.
Well, we'll talk about that this morning. The new fashion trends of men wearing women's clothing, and Harry Styles. A lot of people, the women really love Harry Styles.
Oh, they really do. Yes,
So
he is quite the trendsetter.
there's nothing a woman really loves more than to date a man who likes to go through her clothing and try out her bras and her.
Well, I don't know if he does that. They're man skirts. We can have a little history
Kilts. We can talk
discussion
about kilt.
later.
Yeah, you watched Braveheart for
Yes.
the first
I
time.
did, and wasn't he wearing a skirt?
He was wearing a kilt. It's not
Right.
the same thing. If you told a Scottish man he was wearing a
Oh.
skirt, he
So
might.
is a skirt a skirt? A skirt has
All
shorts.
right, we're not getting into
Aha.
this yet. We'll have to wait until 7:51 this morning. And then we've got to talk to my brother Justin Petersen, who's going to be joining us on the program. I'm excited to talk about. Did you see this Pew Research poll that came out yesterday about black Democrats differ from other Democrats?
And honestly, that's not surprising to me because I used to work in the inner city.
Doesn't surprise me at all either. So here's the news, the headline here. Black Democrats differ from other Democrats in their views on gender identity and transgender issues.
Yes.
Well. Which I think I just there's so many different angles to this, so I'm glad we've got Justin on here today. So hopefully I don't say something bigoted.
Yeah, we'll definitely help you with
We'll let
that.
Justin do that. All right. Speaking of bigoted, did you see that my videos on TikTok are getting pulled down? The one that I did with Camellia got pulled down yesterday.
Yeah.
They completely pulled down all of my history videos of guns of the presidents.
I just don't understand. I mean, what about it is offensive?
So if you're just tuning in and you're wondering what the hell am I talking about? So my Guns of the
Mm.
Presidents YouTube series has been blowing up.
Yes.
And
I'm so excited about it. I mean, I love history.
I know. So it's been really exciting to see the reception to me talking about the history of the presidents and the guns that they owned and what
Mhm.
they did in regards to firearms legislation, et cetera.
That's good information.
Yeah, and there's always info in there about, stuff that people never knew about each of the
Right.
presidents,
I
right?
feel like people on both sides, Democrat, Republican, I mean, they can get on board with these presidents you're talking about because they're not all libertarian-minded presidents.
Right, for sure. So here's the interesting thing too is that yesterday on TikTok, my Franklin Delano Roosevelt video,
FDR.
FDR
So
video.
TikTok does not like
Well,
FDR.
it loves FDR, but it doesn't love the fact that I talked about FDR owning guns.
So maybe if you talked about the New Deal,
They took it, yeah, exactly.
then they'd be like, okay, keep it up. We
So
love
here's
this.
the thing. So the video had, by the time they took it down last night, it had over 100,000 views on TikTok.
Oh my gosh.
And they took it down, and they've given me community strike after community strike after community strike. And they took down the video where I was talking with Camellia about
Mhm.
Andrew Tate as hate speech
Right.
because I said there's nothing softer than the white liberal American female.
So you need to talk more about female empowerment and
Yeah.
women are beautiful and great and perfect.
Or maybe we need to do what Dana White did from the UFC and slap a hoe.
I don't know if TikTok would be okay with
I don't
that.
think so, right?
Mm-mm.
But here's the funny thing about the whole, like, all my videos the Guns of the President videos are just, they're just literally history facts.
They seriously are. It's like reading a history book.
It's not like I don't really even offer my opinion at
Right.
all.
You're not like guns are good.
No,
or anything
I'm not like
that.
guns are good or guns are bad. I just talk about the guns that were owned by these
Right.
presidents.
These guns existed. That
So
is a fact.
so I can't do that on TikTok. They take those down. But here's the thing. There are videos of people actually firing real guns on TikTok that have hundreds of thousands and millions of views.
I just don't understand that.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's like it's who you are. It's
Mhm.
not what you're about, right? Well, it's what you're about, but it's also who you are, right?
Right.
So I'm kind of, I'm an enemy of the Chinese Communist Party.
Yes.
And that is quite clear, right? So I don't make any bones about the fact that, TikTok is a tool of the Chinese Communist Party,
Sure.
right? And here's the thing. So when you're offering programming onto their networks that goes against the Chinese Communist Party's programming,
Right.
then they're going to take that down and they're going to make you an enemy. So I'm just going to keep uploading until they ban me for good. So we'll just
Wonder if that'll ever happen. It's like, what do you have to do to get banned?
continue to do what I'm doing. Keep uploading my videos of the
It's like, I
presidents
wonder
and
if there's like
histories.
so many strikes and then you're out.
Yeah, I'm pretty close. I've got that big red warning on my account this morning. I'm looking at. Let's see. Let's take a look. It's amazing.
You're gonna be a TikTok star. You can't do a
No.
reality TV show
Exactly.
with the other TikTok
I'll never be a
creators.
TikTok star. That's for sure. Community guidelines violation. It's funny too because the Calvin Coolidge one is still up, and the
Mm.
Abraham Lincoln one is
I
still
like
up.
Calvin Coolidge.
The Teddy
Was
Roosevelt.
more of a libertarian-minded president.
Yes, and Abraham Lincoln, who was not a libertarian-minded president. The
Right.
Teddy Roosevelt one is still up. The FDR one is down.
Okay,
But
they just really don't like
it's funny. I
FDR.
added like 500 followers because of the Franklin Delano Roosevelt one. but it's a community guidelines violation, so it's
At
gone.
least you can keep your followers.
Nah, it's not going to happen.
Those followers away from you.
No, because today I'll make another president history video, and they'll take it down, and that's just going to
Mm-hmm.
be what it is. Anyways, all right. So let's see. 573-319-1586 is the text line if you want to text the show today. We've got lots of great shows.
We do.
Yeah, we've got lots of great content today. Okay, let's move on. Let's move to this topic today: aging men and irrelevance. Who we are when we're no longer on top in the outer
Mm-hmm.
world. This is from Psychology Today. As a man ages, they say, it's often important for him to develop a stronger relationship with his internal world.
Ah, your
Meaning,
emotions.
well, internal, basically, get ready to be alone is essentially what they're saying, right? Because people don't want to hang out with you, they're not coming over, you're not getting invited to parties. It's not, you're not leading meetings at as the CEO of a powerful company, right? And
Exactly.
so the second point here in this article is it says it can be difficult to turn away from concrete external metrics
Mm-hmm.
and value the internal and less tangible, right? So concrete external metrics is something like, the company's putting out more products this year than last year, and we're making more money this year than we were last year, and all these.
Like to show their results.
Yeah, we like to show our results, just like me being excited about the YouTube explosion, right? So, I can look at that and say, hey, this morning I woke up and I saw my YouTube metrics had been exploded overnight, and I was.
For you.
Yeah, yeah, and that's an external metric, and so I get a thrill out of that, right?
Yeah.
But one day, no more, right? No, one day there's not going to be any more Wake Up America show. One day there's not going to be any more Guns of the President. It's not going to be any more content from Austin Petersen. It's just not going to happen, right?
One day you may retire.
Hopefully that is the day that I die, because I love
Aw.
creating content and all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
but I want to write more books and things like that as I get older.
And I think that's the key here is you have to keep your mind busy.
Hmm.
So I think this article is talking mostly about men who are retired,
Right.
probably who aren't
Yeah.
working
To a
anymore.
large degree.
Yeah, because being a provider defines a man.
Hmm.
His work defines him. I mean, most of the men clients I talk to, they talk about their work most of the time.
Hmm.
And the reason they come to therapy is because their girlfriend or wife told them to.
Yeah. Well.
Because they're having problems communicating their emotions.
Hmm. The third thing here, they say ultimately the inner world is potentially a richer and more rewarding area for exploration than the
Is.
external. It is the final frontier. I don't know if I agree with that. But that's because, again, and I shouldn't take myself for the average, because let's just say, you know me better than anybody in the world.
Hmm.
I'm probably not a good example to compare to the type of average Missouri man that you interact with on a daily basis,
Right.
in terms of, like, my emotional capabilities compared to most men.
Hmm.
I'm not trying to brag here or anything, but like I'm Jedi level in terms of like emotional stability and control, and you
And
know,
two, in terms of your social life and your hobbies and interests, you
mhm,
have a lot more than the average man. The
right.
average man doesn't have that many friends. He doesn't have that many hobbies because he's so invested in his career.
Right. But also the thing is too is that if that's the case, then when I set those hobbies aside, when I set the career aside,
Mhm.
when the friends are no longer around and people have passed away, and
Yeah,
you get lonely and lonelier, I wonder if the feeling of loneliness is exacerbated from the fact that it's kind of like, better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. But the thing
yeah,
is that those who haven't known love, like, it's hard to say what you're missing in a sense, right? So
exactly.
I'll know what I'm missing when I'm old and gray.
Right.
You know,
It's
I'll.
it's harder to come down from that high than to have never felt that high, for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you may actually have it even harder. You might feel a harder sense of depression when you are really old, but I have hope for you that you're not going to give up on your hobbies in old age. You're going to stay so active, just like your dad. I mean, look at your dad. He's in his 80s now,
Mhm.
and he's still working, still planting trees.
He wants to, right?
Right.
He wants to be active. Like, not a lot of 80-year-old men could do what my dad is doing
No. So physically,
physically, right?
hopefully you will be healthy enough to do something like that. Now, if you have disabilities when you're older and you can't move around very much, then that would really make you feel depressed because then you really got to get in touch with your inner self because you
Mhm.
can't do much.
Ann Henry over the live stream cracking me up. She says, "I have the emotional depth of a puddle." It's not just a man thing. But I wonder what you think about this story. You, the Cantina crew, send us a text, 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. We're going to go to a commercial break, but when we get back, well, what's the next topic on the agenda here we've got? Let's see.
Oh, McCarthy.
Oh, McCarthy. Is he going to cut spending? It's going to happen this time. Yes, it's definitely going to happen. We're going to cut spending. We're not going to raise the debt ceiling anymore.
The government's going to shut down.
We're going to close. We're going to abolish the IRS and the income tax.
Yes.
And we're going to have a libertarian utopia.
Speak to me.
And it's going to start right here on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
I like shooting things, but whenever I can't shoot something, I like to cut things. My life isn't all about shooting and stabbing and cutting, though. Sometimes I have to do actual work, but when I work, I still like to have fun. And there's nothing less fun than trying to cut with a crappy knife. Thankfully, from the ancient sect of Christian knights, who also loved cutting and stabbing, comes a new implement that has received my personal blessing, the Templar knife. Like the ancient sword of Excalibur, you don't choose a Templar knife, it chooses you. You just decide what kind you want on the website first, however, and then order it online, and then it chooses you. The Templar knife comes in a variety of shapes. As a man of culture and taste, I have decided I will never use a terrible knife again. And thanks to the inspiration provided by this excellent product, I have decided to launch a new crusade against anyone using less than superior knives. Join me, brothers and sisters, by visiting uppercuttactical.com/pages/Templar-knives. That's a lot of slashes. For that, you'll need a Templar knife. For 10% off, use code AP for Liberty and join me in a quest for glory, for liberty, for Christendom, for the Templar knife. Get yours today.
Fire.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Petersen stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apeforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apeforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit aporlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. Happy Friday. It's Family Friday. That means that I'm joined in studio by my lovely wife, Steffi Petersen. Hi, Steph.
Hey,
Nice to have you here today.
good to be here.
Yeah, Family Friday. It's always fun. Yeah, we've got a lot to be grateful for and thankful for.
We really do. I love our life.
Yeah, we definitely live a very blessed, very charmed life, don't we here?
We do.
We do. And
I tell you, our house feels like a cabin. I just love being there.
yeah, we live in a rather remote area, at least, but not like completely away from civilization.
Right.
We still get our Amazon packages and things on time. So we got two little beautiful pups.
We do.
Love very deeply.
They just bring us smiles all day long.
Every day they make us laugh and they're silly. And every day George tries to crush my testicles.
That's what men should do. If you're feeling lonely at the end of your life, get a dog. Get
It's
a
not a
cat.
bad idea. It's a great idea.
It's always bring joy.
Our friend over on Twitch, who's been joining us this last week, she's kind of a new guest.
That name that we cannot mention.
Well, we can mention it, but just not when like Judge Napolitano is on the show or anything.
Oh.
Wet fart poop.
Okay.
Wet farts poop.
I mean, that's all normal stuff. We all poop.
And sometimes it's wet.
That's right. Wet poopies.
But you don't want wet farts, honestly.
No?
Those are the
No?
worst. Yes. Let's give wet farts poop a round of applause. Not even 7:30 and we're already talking about ass, says Robbie Thurman. I see you guys over there. Morning poops. Yes.
See?
All right. Can we please talk about some serious news here? You can
It's serious. It's science.
You can text the show at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586 this morning. We'd love to hear from you. All right, let's hit the news. Kevin McCarthy. To win the speakership, Kevin McCarthy had to promise to cut spending. Yeah, this has kind of been a big debate this whole week about the whole vote to abolish the IRS and the income tax.
There's a vote to do that?
So that was one of the promises from Kevin
Really?
McCarthy that he had to make in order to get the speakership. He had to promise that there would be a vote to abolish the IRS and the income tax. I know. You're making that face. Well, here's the
I'm feeling good feelings right now.
well, I know exactly. Well, here's the problem: I'm gonna wet farts poop all over your good feelings here. Or
No.
I'm not actually, but Dave Smith and the LP are gonna do that. So Dave Smith and the Libertarian Party this week, we kind of got into a back and forth on Twitter,
Uh-huh.
and it was over to this question of what is performative, right, versus
Yes.
substantive.
It is a pony show.
Well, but here's the problem. So this is my argument. I think it's more than just performative,
Mhm.
that it displays where the Republican Party stands on this issue, and you're putting your fellow congresspeople on the record. So
Okay.
whether or not your congressperson would vote for it. Now, some people may vote for it because they know it has no chance of passing, and that is possible. But other people,
Right.
that's up to you to determine. And it's better to have these kinds of votes than not.
Mhm.
And frankly, I think that, if the Libertarian Party had any members in Congress, this is the kind of legislation they would advance.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Is it performative? Would it be performative if it had no chance of passing, if Libertarian Party Congress people were introducing this legislation and voting for it? Would that be performative? Right? So my argument is that I
mean,
think they're a
we
little
legitimately want that. Like
Yeah.
that's genuine.
well, and here's the thing: the Republican Party does it, and the Republican Party actually has a chance to do it.
Yeah.
So here's the thing,
Right,
and this
because
is
people listen more to Republicans than they do to Libertarians.
right. So
Gotta
Dave and
say.
I like Dave. We're
Mhm.
not like mad at each other, and it wasn't a hateful exchange or anything like that, but it
Mhm.
was just a disagreement. And here's what I said about this. If introducing legislation that has no chance of passing is performative, then what was Ron Paul's entire career?
Right, exactly. I mean, did he get anything passed?
I think Ron Paul like once got an amendment to something
Okay.
like to pass. But I mean, his abolishing the Fed, auditing the Fed,
All of his big ideas,
gold standard, they didn't come to fruition. So the question would be, was Ron Paul's entire career just performative? He ran for president, he had no chance of winning. Was that performative?
I don't think he was putting on an act.
No, but
not within himself.
No, I was running for president of the United States. Was I performing?
No. I mean, you really are passionate about the ideas of liberty
Right.
here.
And here's the thing, you bring people to the ideas by displaying what it is that you believe. And if there's a debate, a floor debate about abolishing the IRS and the income tax, that's more than just performative.
I mean, that's huge.
It's a big deal.
Idea in people's heads.
It's getting people, yeah, exactly. So I don't agree with my friends in the Libertarian Party in their view of this one. I think it's kind of sour grapes kind of a deal. In my opinion.
So if we don't think something's going to pass, should we just not talk about it?
Yes, exactly.
Guys, let's not talk about it.
Oh, let's only introduce legislation that has a chance of passing, like underneath,
right,
Nancy Pelosi or what have you.
I mean, that sounds really depressing to me, honestly. I would have very little hope for government at that point.
Yeah, Elizabeth Fanning Press over in the live streams got it right. She says huge strides are being made because of this speaker fight. I know, I agree.
Yes.
I think at first I was like, what is this really going to matter? Like, why is this happening? But now I see the wisdom in it, in what Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert and others who stood up and said, no, we're not just going to, give a blank tabula rasa, as our friend Daniela likes to say.
Her big brain talk.
Her big giant big brain, Daniela
She
Pence.
is very smart. I really respect her knowledge.
Isn't it awesome to find people like that? You
Yeah.
know, like every day I'm always like on the snoop, on the hunt for good, strong talent.
And you're really good at finding it. I'm always impressed. I'm like, where did you find this person?
I'm going to tell you something. It takes me sometimes weeks to months to like kind of like bring a talent up and to find someone who is secure, who I think really has the ability to succeed.
Right.
You know who one of my biggest success stories has been?
Oh, Liberty Laura?
Well, Liberty Laura is one of them, but no, it's a little closer to home.
Oh, me?
Well,
no.
Camellia.
Camellia.
Yeah, I'm not taking credit for everything that Camellia does, but I just think that, Camellia, she started out, she's doing some radio and she's getting some attention and stuff. And
yeah, I mean, I've seen her progression. I mean, I remember when I would come to visit Missouri and we'd like be on your radio show and stuff, and she'd be behind the scenes, not on the radio. But then slowly she started doing more radio stuff. And,
and now she's got an awesome job here and stuff like that. Again, I'm not taking credit for all of that.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think
you have helped her build that confidence.
Right, but I think that I can take like a tiny bit of credit for that. You know what I mean?
I think most of us have to give you credit, including me. I mean, during your campaign, I rose up so high and got so many followers because of your campaign.
Yeah, for sure. Melissa D'Alessandro, thanks for joining us this morning. Hope you have a great rest of your Friday. You can text the show today at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586 if you want to send a message into the show. Coming up next at 7:35, Dana White, the head of the UFC, confirms he won't be punished or step down as the president of the UFC following the domestic violence incident, the video that we watched last night, which I can't play, unfortunately, on the show because...
Oh, no, why?
No, they would take this YouTube video.
Would they?
Yeah. Oh, because I'm just, they always are trying to get my ass.
Even if we're saying that the video shows bad stuff and we don't approve it?
If you were like Tim Pool, if you're a big star,
right,
you can get away with anything. But if you're like me and you're like a little star...
Yeah. I mean, maybe we can act it out. Like, you can hold my hand.
And I'll slap you.
I can hit you.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's what we'll do. We'll do that. I'm sure YouTube will have no problem with domestic violence. Just live domestic violence.
We'll be mimes. We'll just pretend.
Yeah, okay. We'll talk about that when we get back on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here. And we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us here. We like it wide open spaces here, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hey there, it's your favorite Vice President Joe Biden. I wanted to talk to you today about the Wake Up America show, the best source for all your political news and commentary. But before I get started, let me just make sure I have all my notes in order. Okay, where was I? All right, the Wake Up America show. It's a great way to stay informed and make your voice heard. Boy, what was I saying again? Oh, right. The Wake Up America show. It's important that we all stay engaged and knowledgeable about what's going on in our country and, the thing. But hold on, where was I going with all this? Oh, yeah. The Wake Up America show. It's a fantastic resource. And if you really want to make a difference, man, you can sign up to be a monthly donor at wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. Now, where was I? Oh, that's right, the Wake Up America show. So if you want to stay woke and support a great cause, head on over to wakeupAmericaShow.com/support and sign up to be a monthly donor today. And if you're feeling generous, you can even give a donation in my name. Thanks for listening, and keep on keeping on, America. Come on, man.
Thank you for watching the Wake Up America show with my dad. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why you should visit Dad's online store at apforlibertyshop.com. Number 1, you can get exclusive freedom-loving merch designed by AP himself, or me mum, Steffi. Liberty Laura has made some designs as well, and blimey, they are great! Number 2, most of these products are so wicked that they aren't even allowed to be advertised on Facebook or Instagram. Modern machine guns and a proper keychain. Plus, our Grover Cleveland t-shirt is so spicy apparently that leftists on Facebook specifically banned it from appearing on the website. Number 3, you're supporting liberty lovers just like you. Spend your money where you earn it, and you help me Pops build a community that supports what you believe. Bloody hell, this commercial is running too long. Gotta run. Bye now. Don't forget to visit apforlibertyshop.com. That's apforlibertyshop.com.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. Austin Petersen here. Welcome to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. It's Friday, which means it's Family Friday. Stephanie Petersen is in the house. Good morning. Good morning to all of our friends. Elizabeth Fanning Press, Chris Morrill, Camellia Petersen, A.N. Henry, Mad Mom Anon. Glad to have you here today.
all of our friends watching the show. So I have got. I'm gonna throw a little bit of a monkey wrench into the topics here.
Spontaneity.
Because don't hit your wife, don't hit your husband, right? The Dana White story.
That's right.
We were gonna talk about the head of UFC and how he committed domestic violence against his wife. I mean, she started it.
She did.
She slapped him first.
Neither person should have hit each other.
Don't hit your husband, don't hit your wife. How's that?
That's right. And the good thing about Dana is he owned up to it. I saw his statement, and he really did admit to wrongdoings, and he really does seem sorry for it.
Yes.
Now, the cute thing about them is they have been together since 8th grade, so they have a pretty deep relationship.
Middle school sweethearts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say, all right. So we've got that topic. Boom. Let's move on.
Right.
I want to talk about this book that I'm reading because I think that this will be a fun discussion. What farts poop is making me laugh. He says, I think they should handle it in the octagon. Very funny. Very funny.
Looking up if she's a fighter, if his wife is a fighter, but
I know.
she's not.
Yeah, no, she's not a fighter. So I'm reading this book, and I thought we should talk about it. I'm not done with it yet. I'm about a third of the way through it.
Okay, if you can read the word on the cover, then that means you're a conspiracy theorist.
Okay, so this is let me show the cover of the book over here. See if I can get it behind the microphone. I'll just move the microphone out of the way here. That's only making it worse. Here we go.
It's like when you look at those pictures and you have to say what you see, and if you
what do
see
you
something,
see
then
over
it
here?
means
Do you
something
see a
about your
pattern?
personality.
Right. The title of the book is Conspiracy by Michael Shermer. He's one of my favorite authors. Michael Shermer has been one of my biggest ever since I got into politics.
You met him, didn't you?
Yes, at Freedom Fest.
Yes.
Yeah, you remember that? Wow.
Because you were really excited to go over there. I was staying at the booth to sell the merch.
I
I'm
don't.
like, you go.
Yeah, I don't really fangirl very much over anybody, but and I wish I could get this copy signed, but
I know nothing about him, honestly.
So he's the head of Skeptic Magazine and chair of the Skeptic Society, and I would call him sort of a default libertarian, even though like he does believe in certain things like global warming and different things, certain
Does he
issues.
politically identify?
I won't say he politically identifies really so much, but he really hangs around the libertarian circles.
Okay.
When he's friends with Penn Jillette.
Nice.
Right. And Penn is kind of, like me. He's more of a, he's a libertarian. And I think Penn is kind of like stepped outside lately these days. But I thought this would be an interesting topic of conversation because Michael Shermer, he's like me. He's like he likes to debunk things. And in this book, he talks about like what are the major types of conspiracy theories versus what are like the actual conspiracies that exist. So he's not saying that like all conspiracy theories are wrong, and he's not like calling people out. I wish I had gotten this book before I did my debate on InfoWars last week because he offers tips and insight in here on how to do formal debates when you're talking about conspiracy theories.
I knew as well because I really dabbled in a lot of that stuff too over the years.
Well, that's why we're going to have fun because what we're going to do in this segment is we're going to read the list of conspiracies and because he identifies them, and we're going to ask the listeners which conspiracies they believe, because I believe in some of the conspiracy theories in the daily lists.
Okay.
And we can talk about ones that we used to believe.
And
maybe
he'll
ones
tell you in the book which ones are actually true.
Well, he can only do his best to try and convince us. But I mean, I don't think we're going to convince a lot of people today. The first one here that he has is this question of aliens. So UFOs, Men in Black, alien abductions, Area 51, Roswell, moon. Do you believe that we landed on the moon, or do you think that was a hoax?
Yeah, we really did land on the moon.
Okay.
I believe that.
So again, I want to hear from you, the listeners, and I'm monitoring the chat over here. I'll go ahead and I'll transition over to our live chat screen so you can see the answers people are giving from all the different
about aliens.
Aliens.
That one gets me. I did have an experience with my mom once where we were driving on the road home from dinner, and all of a sudden we saw red orbs in the sky.
Okay.
So I do wonder if aliens exist, but I'm not sure.
Okay. What about you? Do you believe that aliens exist? Let's hear from you. I think that, and this is my conspiracy theory, I think that we are aliens.
Could be.
Okay. And I've explained this theory to you before, right? Panspermia.
Yes.
I actually asked Michael Shermer about it when
Really?
I was in Las Vegas and we were talking,
Uh-huh.
because it's kind of it's becoming a more popular theory
Yeah.
about how life on this planet began,
Mhm.
that we were kind of seeded with meteorites or asteroids,
Mhm.
that frozen asteroids containing bacteria
Right.
landed on planet Earth.
We're a petri dish.
And essentially, it was a petri dish, and
Mhm.
that the bacteria grew and eventually evolved, which would mean, in theory, um, that we are aliens.
Right.
We're all life on this
We're the
planet are
OG
aliens.
aliens.
Right, not because the other theory is abiogenesis, which is the idea that life originated on this planet.
Right. We are the first.
Right. And this is, again, if you don't believe in a theological perspective,
Mhm.
right? So if you're a theological perspective, then God did it, right? But if you hunger for a more, what's the word? It's not teleological, but a more I guess secular view of the origin of life,
Mhm.
then panspermia, I think, is probably one
Right.
of the more,
It's like a giant science experiment,
yeah,
in my
kind of.
opinion.
But here's the thing, now it leads you to the question of, if the panspermia is real, then does that mean that were we sent here on accident or on purpose?
Right.
Right? So how cool would it be if, like, it was kind of like Superman, where they sent, some like alien species sent an asteroid throughout the universe to try, and maybe
Mhm.
that's the way that life, like, keeps itself going throughout the universe, is
That
that
aliens just keep sending bacteria to different places?
essentially, yeah, it's just like, or unfortunately, like, the worst case scenario might be for those aliens is that their planet, got hit by, a giant meteorite and
Right.
destroyed it, and then it, sent all of it sent stuff into
That's
space,
believable.
right? So
Meteorites exist.
right.
That could
So
happen.
I think it's possible that humans are aliens. So
I think dogs are aliens. They're
dogs are
spying on us and
dogs are al-
sending information
and
back up.
birds aren't real. There was, and this was actually, I think this wasn't even debunked until I was a kid. There used to be this whole theory that there was a face on Mars that
Yes.
proved that there were aliens on Mars.
Yeah, I think I've seen, isn't there like a photo that shows a face?
Yes, but here's the funny thing about that. So it had to do with the fact that our telescopes
Mhm.
were not very powerful.
Ah.
And so now, because we can actually we have much better, like, here's the thing. Take a look at this. I'm going to go to my clean scene so you can see this. Take a look at the difference in camera quality between my camera, Austin, and Stephanie's camera. Okay. Can you tell the difference between this camera and that camera? Stephanie's a little fuzzy, right? That's because, like, I have on me a very nice premium lens.
Because you deserve the best.
Well, I'm the host. And,
Okay.
and then over here, you have Stephanie, which she's a little fuzzy, right? And by
That's
the
right.
way, if you like the show and you want to help contribute, that lens is going to cost me like $500.
If you want to make our camera less fuzzy,
Yeah.
wakeupAmericaShow.com/support.
I am
Or
trying to.
send us a super chat.
I know, exactly. I'm trying to find one on eBay, but I'm not having much luck because everybody knows how valuable these lenses are. So
Yes.
they pretty much go for what they go for.
And pretty much everybody's a YouTuber or a TikToker nowadays, so everybody wants the camera stuff.
Yes. All right. So enough cyber begging. The reason why people thought there was a face is because the cameras were fuzzier, the telescopes were fuzzier, and so it
Right.
looked like a face. But now that when you zoom in and you look at it with much clearer perspective, it doesn't look like a face at all. Right?
It's kind of like the same thing about the American flag on the
Mhm.
moon, right?
Yes.
The reason why it looked so stiff
Mhm.
is because of the camera and,
Yeah.
and how we had to take the picture.
What do you mean?
Because wasn't the picture taken in different segments, and so it looks
Which
like
picture?
of the American flag on the moon,
Oh, yeah.
and so it looks like the flag is literally moving
Mhm.
on the moon, which
Well
it can't do.
well, like, one of the conspiracy theories, like, is that, there's no atmosphere on the moon. How can it do
Right.
it? There is an atmosphere on the moon. It's
Oh, so
just
it really could
it's
be
just
waving?
very thin. Very,
Oh.
very thin. Yeah.
Because I thought the reason why it looked like it was waving was because there was like multiple shots taken of the flag, so it
Mhm.
looked like it was in different positions.
I'm not
Something about that.
100% on that one. But yeah. So, anyways, you can send us a text at 573-319-1586. Somebody says SP is not fuzzy, AP. Compared to this This camera, it absolutely is.
On the phone, you probably really can't tell. 'Cause when
Yeah.
I'm watching on my phone, everything looks great.
Watch it on a big screen TV,
Right.
and you'll definitely see it. And later when I cut, I'm gonna cut like shorts from this video,
Mhm.
and then I'll zoom in on her face. Like you'll definitely be able to tell it's the fuzziness. So if you're watching this on a phone or a small device, then it's
We're gonna
different.
get these negative comments. Oh my gosh, you guys are so fuzzy.
Yeah, there is no wind. There is no wind in the moon. Well, I didn't say there was wind in the moon.
There's an atmosphere, you
There's an
said.
atmosphere on the moon. Yes,
Mhm.
very very thin, but there is. On. Oh, you can now you correct yourself, Quest. What are you trying to hide? All right, so let's move on to the next conspiracy theory. This one I think is an interesting one for you. The anti-Semitic conspiracy theories.
How is that a conspiracy
The
theory?
stab in the back theory. Remember the so Adolf Hitler's conspiracy theory about World War One
Uh-huh.
was that the Treaty of Versailles, the Jews stabbed Germany in the back,
Okay.
and that the reason why the Germany was mistreated, and the reason why Germany lost World War One is because of the Jews.
Oh, what did
That
the Jews do to make them lose World War One?
they stabbed the Jews who were in Germany
Uh-huh.
were secretly colluding against Germany, and international Jews
Uh-huh.
were, according to Adolf Hitler, by the way, not me. International Jews were conspiring against Germany.
Hmm.
And so there was a theory that Adolf Hitler that he came up with,
Uh-huh.
and it was called the stabbed in the back theory.
Oh,
And it was a
okay.
conspiracy theory,
Right.
right? There were Jews who were funding and supporting Germany during World War One.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I'm sure there were
Less
some that
so
were
during
against him too.
less so during World War Two.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah,
that
that's
is,
the first I've ever heard of that one.
well, if you are obsessively reading about World War One or World War Two like me, it's fairly
Well,
common.
we didn't do it.
They do
See?
teach
We just debunked it. We didn't do it.
they do teach you in high school about the stabbed in the back theory.
I guess I didn't listen. I hated history.
Andy
in high
Maidman
school.
is backing us up. He says he's watching on a 50-inch TV in 4K. He can tell the fuzziness
Ooh.
of that. Yeah, see.
All
so
right.
Thank
you
you.
for confirming.
Thank you, Andy. Yes, exactly. There's a huge difference between this camera and that camera. And debunk that conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
That Steffi's not
We
fuzzy.
are fuzzy.
Steffi
That
is
is a fact.
Steffi is fuzzy. I'm not. All right. So anti-Semitic. So another one, Holocaust denial.
Oh my gosh.
The Holocaust didn't happen, or it wasn't 6 million. This is like this is the Nick Fuentes view, right? So
yeah, the Holocaust was real. I don't know how you can.
debunked. Another conspiracy theory debunked. And then the third one on the anti-Semitism, the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. So I only recently explained this to you.
Yeah.
This is this book that like Henry Ford and others shared around.
Right.
So it was the book that shows that the Jews are conspiring to take over the world. It's the protocols of the elders of Zion conspiracy theory.
Gosh, I'm not in on this
The
one.
funny thing is that it wasn't written by Jews. It was written by Russian secret police. So in order for, just like with the funny thing is about the anti-Semites and stuff like that, they're always so quick to say false flag, Ukraine, false flag. But here's the thing: the protocols of the elders of Zion, the book, which is this, it's purportedly written by Jews and their plot to take over the world. Which who's going to sit down and write down their plot to take over the world and let everybody see it?
I mean, if you're a psychopath, maybe.
Maybe. But here's the thing. So it was written by Russian secret police in the early 1900s and spread as a way to justify the pogroms because they wanted to push the kulaks, the Jewish merchant class, out of their landed property, and they wanted to have ethnic Russians.
So they wanted people to hate the Jews.
Yeah. So, so you come up with this conspiracy theory and you share all these texts about how the Jews are trying to take over, and it's easy, again, it's like with Adolf Hitler, it's a conspiracy theory. Adolf Hitler was a huge conspiracy theorist.
He was.
Yes.
He blamed the Jews for a lot of things.
He did. All right. So anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. That's the second one there. Third one, aviation, unidentified aerial phenomenon, black helicopters, mind control via chemtrails. Steffi, talk to us about chemtrails.
Believer. Okay, so there's contrails where those are the ones where you see the line and then they disappear soon after.
Yes.
And then there's chemtrails. Those are the ones that stay in the sky for long periods of time.
Yes. So we're talking about, if you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show with Austin Petersen, I'm reading from Michael Shermer's book, Conspiracy, which is a great read. It starts out with a QAnon conspiracy stuff, which is really fun.
Mhm.
I think Chris Morrill would love this book specifically. But right now we're talking about which conspiracy theories we believe in and which ones we don't. And so chemtrails, I actually did a debate, and it's on YouTube.
I think you showed it to me once because we were
Yes.
debating about it.
About contrails versus chemtrails. Chemtrails is a fake conspiracy, says John Knox over in the live stream. Yes, it is fake. So the reason why like people believe in this in part is because the U.S. government since like the 70s has like tried to engage in cloud seeding. And what they
Right.
do is like the conspiracy theorists will take like the legislation where they're like, altering the weather and weather control and stuff like that, and they'll point to that
Like
and say,
HARP.
well, we're not there, but yes,
Uh-huh.
that's in aerial phenomenon, right? HARP is used to control the weather and to make
Yes.
earthquakes and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So here's the thing, the chemtrails thing,
Mhm.
it started with the attempt to control the weather, right? The government has
Right.
tried to like seed clouds, and China's trying to do it right now because like there's a scientific basis of like how you can sort of like create accumulation of precipitation
Mhm.
in the atmosphere. The idea and the hope is that, like for example, California, unfortunately right now they're suffering from flooding,
Right. They have
but
too much
they
rain.
have too much rain, but their problem has been drought, right? The biggest
Right.
problem California's been facing has been drought. So if in theory you could do cloud seeding and
Mhm.
create, precipitation,
That could be helpful.
it could be. So
Used for the
the
good.
governments are trying to do that. And of course, when governments do anything, it's, you're going to be like paranoid about it. Sure.
So when the governments do the spraying, is that a chemtrail then?
No. And so you don't typically see when they do it, and it's not on a massive scale.
Okay.
It's usually like crop dusting planes try and do it, and it's not very often. And
It's
and it's
invisible,
very,
really.
yeah, and it's very rare that they even do it much anymore. It
Okay.
only exists in a very small subsidy that exists in the government programs. And it's just like another crony capitalist program where they just like, these little crop dusters are getting, $1,000 to go out and put barium in the atmosphere to a certain degree in very limited quantities in certain places, but it doesn't create a chemtrail, right? And not like what you see. What you see when planes are doing that is a contrail, right?
Okay.
It's condensation that comes off the wings of planes.
So why do some of them stay in the air? Why can you see some of them for long periods of time and they don't disappear?
So I'm not going to go into a long, drawn out scientific explanation on contrails because if you did, we'd be here all night. All right, so you got to read the book and you got to continue on. All right.
This is good stuff.
Operation Popeye, says Jacob Champion. I have no idea what that means. Is that a Dan Crenshaw thing? All right.
Spinach?
Yes.
By the Sailor
Oh,
Man?
well, TWA Flight 800, Malaysia Airlines flight, that airliner that like disappeared and stuff like that. That's mysterious.
Oh, the Bermuda Triangle, how you
Bermuda
disappear
Triangle
there.
stuff. I used to think as a kid that like one of like my greatest fears was that I'd end up in the Bermuda Triangle. Yeah. It'd be like, no, I don't want to go to the Caribbean. Do we have to fly over the Bermuda Triangle? And I was a kid. I was like, if we're gonna go down to the Caribbean, I'd be like, please don't take me over the Bermuda Triangle, because I've thought for real that was like serious stuff. Because like even in the library and elementary school, I would read about the Bermuda Triangle and stuff.
Really have disappeared there, but I think it's because of like the weather patterns in that area.
No, it's because of aliens, let's be honest.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Biblical ones. This one's going to get us in a lot of trouble. All right, biblical conspiracy theories. Here we go. Antichrist. This is a popular one today, right? That the Antichrist is going to come because in the book of
Yes.
Revelations, the Antichrist will come and he will be, riding a white horse. I can't remember my Revelations exactly off the top of my head.
Okay.
But this is the idea that is that like one day the Antichrist will come. Some people think he's already here and stuff. And it's like, and it
Sure.
will mark the end of the world and the Revelations, and the Antichrist will lead people to Satan and all that. So
I mean, I guess we'll find out when he comes, right?
I guess. Well, you and I will be killed. You have a chance of survival, and I, in theory, have a chance of survival if the Baptists are correct.
Mm-hmm.
If the Southern Baptists that I was raised with are correct, then I will go to heaven. You'll go to hell.
Yeah.
I'll go to heaven because I was saved by Jesus Christ when I was a young man.
Yeah.
Now, I've since renounced Christianity, and so I'm no longer a self-identifying Christian. But in the Baptist religion, they have this thing called no backsliding, meaning that once you're saved, once he's got you, he's got you.
Okay.
And that's what my grandma's taught me and all that stuff. But you, as a Jew, only have one opportunity to get into heaven,
Mhm.
and that is that you become one of the 100,000 martyrs. In Revelations, they talk about a certain amount of Jews will be able to go into heaven, which is funny because you're technically God's chosen people.
Yeah.
But because you don't accept Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, you're going to burn in the burn in hell for all. You'll burn in hell for all eternity and be tortured by Satan and his minions. And
I've heard that before.
and I'll look down on you from heaven and say, thank you, God, for saving me and for, punishing Stephanie for renouncing you. And she deserves to torment, to burn in hell for all eternity. You're such a kind and loving God.
I know.
Yeah, isn't he such a kind and loving God? Yes.
Yeah.
But you haven't accepted Jesus Christ, so you'll burn in hell.
not.
Unless you become like the 100,000 who accept Christ and fight on God's side in the end of times when the Antichrist comes.
Right.
He loves it. He loves you though, Stephanie. Accept him.
I guess we'll see.
Accept him or burn. Accept him and burn, bitch. Accept him or burn. But he loves you. Anyways, biblical conspiracy theories. Jesus married and had children. That's another popular one. And then anti-Catholicism. That's popular conspiracy theories that the Pope and the Catholics are trying to run the world through the Vatican. That was a little bit more popular back in the 1940s and 50s, right? Yeah. So you can text the show today at 573-319-1586. We got to go to a commercial break.
Yeah.
Yes. Dustin says, as a Christian, this is really off. I don't think so, bud. Read the Bible 6 times. I know Revelations.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a big debated issue, so
yes,
I don't want to judge anyone.
Let's judge everybody, because if you don't accept Jesus Christ as personal Lord and Savior, and you are living in sin, you will, as a Jew, burn in hell. We'll be back with another man who will burn in hell, my brother, Justin Petersen. We're going to talk about why he's going to burn in hell, at least according to Black Democrats. It's Family Friday on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Hit the button, Austin.
Good morning to the Cantina Group. This is Elon Musk, the CEO of Twitter. And I just want to say thank you for watching the Wake Up America show. I've decided that Austin Petersen will be the new CEO of Twitter.com, effective immediately. First thing to do, though, is I've got to go and blast off into space.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that at the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the
the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
If I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors, what would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
It's me, you, anyone that wants to be. There is no typical firefighter.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist in all his ways? Do you believe that aliens controlled LBJ to assassinate John F. Kennedy? Did you know that the shot can put chemicals in you that will make you more sensitive to 5G? Do you love America? Do you want more freedom? Do you like smoking hot red-headed libertarians? Then the AP for Liberty shop is for you! Check out all the awesome new merch and have a happy new year! Fight the deep state, reject the Antichrist. Visit AP for Liberty shop and get your patriotic merchandise now, or the deep state wins.
Good morning. It's time to wake up, America. Nice to have you here. Happy Friday. It's Family Friday. So in studio, we're joined by my lovely wife, Steffi P. Hi, Steffi.
Hello. Do some stretches.
Do some stretches. Yes.
Get that body moving.
Get that body moving. Glad to have you here on the Wake Up America show. Family Friday wouldn't be complete without another Petersen, AP, SP, and JP. My brother Justin joining us now. Give him a round of applause. Thank you. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning. I'm the OG. JP.
OG JP, yeah.
I went out before you to try to clear the landscape so that your arrival could be propitious.
Justin, did you feel like I was misrepresenting at all? I know you were listening to the show right before this. Was I misrepresenting what we were taught as young men? Because as I understand it, I'll just brief recap here for people who are just tuning in. We were raised to believe that if you accepted Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, that was the only way to get entrance into heaven. We were also raised to believe that you couldn't backslide, meaning that once you have accepted him, that you're going to heaven no matter what you do, even if you try and renounce him later, right? No backsliding. Right. Not everybody believes that, but that's, I think, what we were raised. Anyone who doesn't accept him goes to hell, up to and including the 144,000 Jews at the end times of the Revelation who will accept Jesus and be allowed to go into heaven. But am I misrepresenting anything that there?
No, I mean, the ideas about the rapture didn't come around until the 19th century. So, I mean, I always laugh at that because the rapture ideas and theology were like codified in the 1830s. So, I mean, we're talking about a span of how many 1,830 years? And then we're like, oh, wait, there's going to be a rapture. I mean, even the idea of hell is an invention of a Florentine writer named Dante, right? So what better way to get people into church than to scare them to death with thoughts of a burning fire in the afterlife? I mean, that theology isn't represented in the Bible. What is represented in the Bible, though, is separation from God. And so a lot of theological authors and scholars believe that the idea about hell is not that it's this fiery pit, but that it is just a complete separation from God. And so that's what many people think today. But no, I don't think you're misrepresenting it at all. And I think that much of the, here's the thing. We were talking about religious trauma. Much of the...
religious trauma is real. I have a lot of clients that come to me for religious trauma in particular.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
because
it's
they
got
have
to
so
do
much
something to
guilt
you.
and fear
Oh
of
yeah.
hell
Oh yeah.
that's been
Well,
instilled
think
in
about
them.
this. Think about the psychological burden of this. You have a particular message that if your friend doesn't hear it, they're going to suffer eternal torment. So what do you think that does to you as a person? Like that makes you depressed, anxious. I mean, it's going to create all kinds of psychological, issues in you.
Absolutely.
Because, like I remember like you could die tonight. You could leave this place and die. And would you know where you're going after you leave this church? And I'm just like, I'm scared. Like, so, is that, but yet, like you said, Austin, that's love. And I get where they're going to justify it and be like, but, loving someone is being able to tell them the hard truths. And I'm like, okay, but
speaking of theology, this is a great way for me to segue into the next topic. This Pew Research poll that came out: Black Democrats differ from other Democrats in their views on gender identity and transgender issues. Now, Justin, you're not going to be able to hear this clip, but it's about 30 seconds long. I'm going to switch away. I'm going to play this clip real quick for the audience so they can see an ostensibly gay man being saved in a black church. Okay, we're going to play this clip. We'll be right back here. And that's not playing at all. Where's the audio?
And just to preface this, this is a real man who really did turn to religion to help him because he was gay. We did actually watch an interview with him after this video was made, and he did confirm that it's true and genuine what was happening here.
Okay, it doesn't look like the audio is coming up, so hold on one second. Give me 1 second to try and fix that. I think I can do it. There we go. Maybe not. Yeah, it doesn't want to play that audio, unfortunately. Let me try one more thing. Yeah. It's no audio there. All right. Well, unfortunately, we're just going to have to go back to have a conversation about it. So Black Democrats differ from other Democrats in their views on gender identity and transgender issues. So essentially, Justin, what this Pew Research poll is kind of confirming is, what people like ourselves had suspected all along, is that when it comes to like the gender ideology, critical theory, and queer theory, Black Democrats, being largely religious, don't accept it. Your thoughts?
yeah, I think that's right. I mean, the clincher of the reason why is because more Black Americans attend church than white Americans do. Hispanics actually are also even more. I don't want to say welcoming, they're less welcoming of these ideas. So the Hispanics are even higher, and you can trace that to Catholicism as well, right? Their Catholic beliefs. Usually, a lot of Hispanics are Catholic. So, again, it's just this monolithing idea. What is interesting, I thought, was from this Pew Research poll was that where Black Americans did say, hey, no, we need to be careful with transgender issues, is in things like job access, discriminatory things like access to bathrooms and things like that. Because, hey, we can look at each other in the face and say, yeah, the Black experience in the middle of the 20th century was not so friendly to, Black people being allowed to go in spaces, right? We had segregated water fountains, segregated bathrooms. So, of course, the Black community is going to be very concerned about things like that in other communities, and they're going to fight for that. But, in terms of the, the actual belief system, I think it's not maybe necessarily that they're Black, it's that they are more they're attending church in higher numbers. And so people who have more of a theological or Christian or or Jewish or whatever religious worldview, let's say, are going to be, if you are more accepting of the Genesis story, you're not going to be really open to transgenderism. Right. Like if you believe that the Genesis story of Adam and Eve is a real thing and God, female and male created he them or whatever, you're not going to be like, and Adam was confused, it's just not part of your belief system. So those two worldviews are in conflict with each other.
You're just tuning into the Wake Up America show with Austin Petersen. I'm speaking to my brother, Justin Petersen. We're also joined in studio by my wife, Stephanie Petersen. I figured out what was going on with that clip. I'll play that a little bit later after the segment with Justin. Steffi, your thoughts on what Justin said?
Yeah, I completely agree. I used to work in the inner city at a hospital, and yeah, a lot of Black people are on the down low because of, religious communities that they reside in. And so they kind of have to hide their innermost feelings. So it definitely makes sense to me. I think where Blacks are more socially liberal is like fiscally. So I guess, right, they're not as socially liberal, but they're more fiscally liberal. Which means that they like more of the food stamps and the money programs, assistance
Well, that's
programs.
fiscal liberalism, right?
Yeah.
But so I mean, on social liberalism, like the question there, you're talking about permissiveness of the kinds of lifestyles that we're discussing
Right.
here,
So they
right?
might
Oh,
be a little bit less socially liberal. They're a little bit more socially conservative and they're more fiscally liberal. So that's probably why they identify as Democrats, because of the
fiscal
more
issues.
fiscal programs.
For sure.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
then how do they square that circle there, Justin? I mean, some uncomfortable conversations, I mean, might need to be spurred on, but I mean, in theory, need to happen between white liberals who adopt critical theory and who are adopting critical theory, and Black Democrats who, I mean, at some point you have to say, are their missions really all that aligned?
Well, I mean, that's the question is also to this idea about being politically Black, right? I don't know if you've been following any of those arguments, but I've been following that very, very intently by, people being accused of being not politically Black if they don't vote for, Black issues all the way down the board that the Democratic Party largely puts out. So there's already some infighting in that, it's like, well, you're not really, well, or if like you're gay, you're like, you're a self-hating homo if you don't vote for exactly what the Democratic Party tells you to vote for at every turn.
It was like when Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black.
You're not Black. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, wow.
That's the idea in a nutshell. That's the idea. Yeah. It's like
an all
you
or
don't get your identity.
Here.
Here's what, sorry.
If you don't vote Republican, you ain't white.
All right, I'm just saying all or nothing. Either you accept it or you don't.
Yes.
I mean, there's gray area.
Well, and it's like, you don't get your identity unless I
everything.
tell you do. Well, it's another kind of racism, isn't it? Isn't it just another form of racism? To say you can't think for yourself. Please let us do it for you. I mean, it's so pandering.
You
to
need
me.
to believe in these specific policies.
Well, it's funny too, because like, it's the theory of the self-hating Jew, like that's been going around for quite some time, and it's that's kind of more of an open conversation. But I mean, now it's spread to other groups, right? Self-hating gay, self-hating trans,
self-hating woman, right?
Self-hating
It's
woman.
you can you can go all the way down. It's like, if you don't get online with what the most current idea is that came out 5 minutes ago, well, then you're just a racist. And it's like, no.
You can text the show today at 573-319-1586 with your thoughts on this one. So, I mean, knowing how, the different groups have such separate goals. I mean, when in the Republican Party, when I look at the different ideologies that compose the Republican Party, they can be very different. Neoconservatives versus libertarians, with the fact that, neocons are much more interventionist on foreign policy than libertarians would be. But neocons are far more liberal when it comes to issues like immigration. So, if you scratch a neocon on domestic policy, you'll find that they're mostly libertarian. On foreign policy, absolutely not. And yet we fight like cats and dogs, right? And so, within the Democratic Party, though, it seems to be a much wider gap or a chasm between the African American community or the minority community than the white liberal community. And I think, in some sense too, that the way Hispanics voting trends have started to lean more towards the right, they're trending more towards voting Republicans, despite the rhetoric of Donald Trump and others, and the immigration rhetoric of Donald Trump and others. Hispanics have found the gendered ideology of white liberals to be so distasteful that they're actually switching parties. I wonder if that could happen to Black Democrats, or if they are entirely captured.
Well, I feel like from my own experience, I can only speak from my experience, where, I've always thought that I was on the left pretty much my entire life. And it wasn't until all of this stuff started to kind of roll out starting around 2020, where I realized that I didn't move in my political beliefs so much, but the entire radicalism of the left went so far left that by just me standing still, I now stand on the other side of basically I'm right winger, but it's like I thought I was a liberal, but maybe I'm not. And I think that, one of the things that, as you were saying that, it reminded me of that political compass chart we've talked about previously.
Mm-hmm.
You can have all four of those quadrants and you can be in a quadrant, but there can be people in that quadrant that you don't agree with. That's one or two dots over. And you're like, yeah, we're not the same. We don't carry the same thing. This is why I think that, once upon a time, if you look, there's some scattershot charts that they used to make on Democrats and Republicans and how widely mishmashed everything was and how kind of people were intermingled. That's how it used to be in the United States in the mid-20th century. Like Republicans would be more liberal, Democrats would be more conservative. And now everything is so dogmatic and party lined that there is no cross population. But here's the thing, as Barry Goldwater knew, politics is dependent upon compromise. And when you have these rigid belief systems that are not willing to be compromised on, you can't compromise. And if you are especially taken in by an ideology completely, if you're a zealot, and I don't care what kind of zealotry that is, and whether that's right-wing zealotry or left-wing zealotry, you're not going to be amenable to compromise. Well, guess what? That's not good for a political system. Right. It's not good for a political system because it's all or nothing. Like Stephanie said, it's black or white. There is no gray. And unfortunately, politics lives in the gray. It doesn't live in black and whites.
If you're just go ahead, Steph.
And I think too, a lot of people, when they're voting, they're only voting on a few different issues that they're really passionate about. So we all go to the voting poll for certain reasons that we're motivated by. So it's like there might be Black Democrats voting for, assistance programs, let's say, or things that'll help them in their own community, whereas a white Democrat might be going to the voting booth for different issues, but they both identify as Democrats.
Right.
If you're just tuning in to wake up, go ahead, Justin.
No, I was just going to say, my big thing always and forever, and I always keep saying is, please don't monolith people. Like even me, when I meet people, I'm like, don't put someone into a preordained box that you think that they should fit in. And that goes good for Christians. I mean, it sounds like I'm ragging on Christians, or I'm not. Like, I have lots of Christian friends. Some of my closest friends are Christians. I don't judge all Christians by the actions of other Christians. And so, I guess I'm always making a plea for not monolithing people. Don't assume things about people, because again, the assumptions are the racism. That is the anti-Semitism. That is the homophobia. That is the transphobia. When you look at somebody and you go, I know. Totally. That is what it's based on. And so if you're going to move through that into a more egalitarian society, I think you have to, sit with the fact that not everybody believes what you think they believe and thinks the way you think they believe.
We're individuals. That's really how we need to look at each other.
Man, that is really the battle, though. If you're just tuning in to the Wake Up America show with Austin Petersen, I'm speaking to my brother, Justin Petersen, and my wife, Stephanie Petersen. It's an all Petersen day. It's Family Friday. Glad to have you here. One last topic, though, Justin, and I know I didn't prepare you to talk about this, but I know it's in your wheelhouse. I just wanted to ask you your thoughts on the death of Lisa Marie Presley.
Oh my gosh, so sad. And also that she was just at the Golden Globes like a couple days ago.
Really?
I'm terrible. I can't remember his name, the actor that just won the Golden Globe for doing
something. His name is Austin.
For Elvis.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my
and they were both there.
That's so sad that she was just there.
Yeah, I think it's just really
how she was looking, if she was healthy.
That was the only child of Elvis and Priscilla.
That's right.
So
that's
the end of
she looks just like her mom.
I know. That's the end of the bloodline.
You sound like you're making a werewolf movie.
And the sad thing is,
the bloodline.
Her dad had a heart attack, and she had a heart attack. I know her dad's heart attack was maybe more because of the drug use, but maybe heart issues ran in their family.
Well, she also owned, I believe she owned outright Graceland. So it'll be interesting to see how that property...
She was the heir of the estate.
Yeah.
She was.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that gets, if they give that to the state of Tennessee or, how that's going to work out. But
Manners over on the live stream this morning says, "This is my new favorite place for my daily dose of reasonability. Extra strength dose today." That's of course, kudos to my big brother, Justin Petersen. What a handsome man. JP, hey, thanks for being generous with your time with us today, brother. We love you.
Oh, yeah. Perfectly. Hey, and it's Friday the 13th, y'all. So, don't walk on under any ladders.
Website to boost.
Spooky.
Spooky. Sorry about that. I hit the commercial button a little too fast there. Justin, we love you very much. Have
All right.
a wonderful day, and we'll see you very soon, okay?
All right, take care.
All
Bye.
right, take care. All right, let's head over there. I got that clip. Let's go ahead and play it from that black church. That's man.
Do you believe that the Lord tonight has set you free?
Yes, sir.
Turn around and tell those people.
Tell them.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women. I'm not gay. I would not date a man. I would not carry a purse. I would not put on makeup. I will love a woman. Now listen, y'all praise God with him. Hold on, wait a minute. Somebody believe God with him. Hey!
Dance, Steffi, dance.
We don't just preach condemnation. We preach reconciliation.
Website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here, and we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us here. We like it wide open spaces here, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hey there, it's your favorite Vice President Joe Biden. I wanted to talk to you today about the Wake Up America show, the best source for all your political news and commentary. But before I get started, let me just make sure I have all my notes in order. Okay, where was I? All right, the Wake Up America show. It's a great way to stay informed and make your voice heard. Boy, what was I saying again? Oh, right. The Wake Up America show. It's important that we all stay engaged and knowledgeable about what's going on in our country and, the thing. But hold on, where was I going with all this? Oh, yeah. The Wake Up America show. It's a fantastic resource. And if you really want to make a difference, man, you can sign up to be a monthly donor at wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. Now, where was I? Oh, that's right, the Wake Up America show. So if you want to stay woke and support a great cause, head on over to wakeupAmericaShow.com/support and sign up to be a monthly donor today. And if you're feeling generous, you can even give a donation in my name. Thanks for listening, and keep on keeping on, America. Come on, man.
for watching the Wake Up America show with my dad. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why you should visit Dad's online store at apforlibertyshop.com. Number 1. You can get exclusive freedom-loving merch designed by AP himself or me mom, Steffi. Liberty Laura has made some designs as well, and blimey, they are great! Number 2. Most of these products are so wicked that they aren't even allowed to be advertised on Facebook or Instagram. Modern machine guns and a proper keychain. Plus, our Grover Cleveland t-shirt is so spicy apparently that leftists on Facebook specifically banned it from appearing on the website. Number 3. You're supporting liberty lovers just like you. Spend your money where you earn it, and you help me pups build a community that supports what you believe. Bloody hell! This commercial is running too long. Gotta run. Bye now. Don't forget to visit apforlibertyshop.com. That's apforlibertyshop.com.
Do you believe that the Lord tonight has set you free?
Yes, sir.
Turn around and tell those people.
Tell them.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women. I'm not gay. I would not date a man. I would not carry a purse. I would not put on makeup. I will love a woman. Now listen, y'all praise God with him. Hold on, wait a minute. Somebody believe God with him. Hey! We don't just preach condemnation. We preach reconciliation. Hallelujah. God, help him, Lord. Help him, Lord. Help him. I wish I had some shown up believers that'll come down here and dance with him and tell him you can do it in the name of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. Welcome to the Wake Up America show with Austin Petersen. I'm joined in studio by my lovely wife, Stephanie. Hey, Steffi.
Hello.
So he will not date a man. He will not put on makeup. He will not wear a purse.
Yes.
He will like women's.
Yes. I want to get serious for a second
Oh,
here
God,
about this issue.
All right, here we go.
Because this is a serious topic, really.
Is it really?
Yes. A lot of clients come to me about this stuff.
Oh.
So conversion therapy really is a thing.
Oh, boy.
And it's debated a lot. It's very controversial. And this is what this guy ultimately did, is he wanted to become ungay. Legitimately. And now, fast forward, he was interviewed. He has a girlfriend. He says he's not gay. So it worked for him. So I don't know. He was delivered. He was healed. So I hope for his sake that he's happy.
Steffi, I have just one question to ask you.
Yes.
Why are you gay?
Oh no. I know. I am who I am. You can't change who you are unless you really want to.
Oh my God, this
Nobody
is
can
funny
force
stuff. Oh, this is funny stuff. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is just too funny. Stephanie, we got to do right by our sponsors.
We do.
Yes, we got to talk about Lear Capital.
We're going to convert you to being gold lovers.
I will not buy copper. I will not buy lead. I will not
spend dollar bills.
Will not put all of my retirement funds into paper dollars and stocks and bonds. I will loves a golds and silvers.
That's right.
That's right. Lear Capital, our sponsor, would like to remind you that now is a great time before a recession hits before you lose every single last penny of your retirement. Stephanie was looking at the retirement funds yesterday when they came in.
I've lost.
It's all and it's none of it's in gold, is it?
No, my gold is in a secret pouch in our secret place.
Yes, that's the bag of Jewish gold. Here's the thing. If you have all of your retirement in stocks and bonds, now's a good time to start thinking about diversifying. And you can take a portion of your investment, of your retirement funds, and put a portion of your retirement funds into gold, so real physical gold. And if at any point in time you want to take possession of that gold, you can. Right?
It's really cool. And I mean, you can probably even take like a few $100s. I would assume Lear Capital would allow this. Like, that's what I used to do, is I used to go to the gold shop and I would give, a few hundred of my savings, and I'd be like, give me silver.
Yeah. And so here's what I recommend to you. Go to learaustin.com. That's LEARAUSTIN.com. No obligation to buy. Just get a free information packet. Right, to find out what they have on offer, right? And even if you only have just a few $100s that you want to squirrel away in gold and silver, you can get a good deal over there from our friends.
Oh, absolutely. It's so worth it.
It is.
It makes me feel so safe.
It is.
Knowing that I have it and I can trade it in at any time and I can get the money for it.
Head to learaustin.com. That's LEARAUSTIN.com. Head to learaustin.com. Get your free informational packet, a gold packet over there. And that'll get you all squared away. All right. Now let's see. We've got to go to a commercial break really briefly. We will be right back.
Commercials come so fast.
I know.
Commercials are great.
I know you appreciate them. Yes, when we get back, we're going to talk about Andrew Tate and why he loves to grape. We say grape, not R-A-P-E.
Okay, grape is
We say grape.
Word. Okay.
Right. We say grape.
That's our safe word.
Yes. We're going to talk about, we'll talk about that when we get back on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Good morning to the Cantina Group. This is Elon Musk, the CEO of Twitter. And I just want to say thank you for watching the Wake Up America Show. I've decided that Austin Petersen will be the new CEO of Twitter.com, effective immediately. First thing to do, though, is I've got to go and blast off into space.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government. Get off my back. Get out of my pocket. And let me have more control of my own destiny.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? You can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be. There is no typical firefighter.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist in all his ways? Do you believe that aliens controlled LBJ to assassinate John F. Kennedy? Did you know that the shot can put chemicals in you that will make you more sensitive to 5G? Do you love America? Do you want more freedom? Do you like smoking hot red-headed libertarians? Then the AP for Liberty shop is for you! Check out all the awesome new merch and have a happy new year! Fight the deep state, reject the Antichrist! Visit AP for Liberty shop and get your patriotic merchandise now, or the deep state wins!
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. It's Family Friday, which means that the lovely Stephanie Petersen is here with me in studio.
Hey.
Nice to see you, Steffi.
Oh.
Been a good show so far. It's almost. Can you believe it's almost over?
No, it always goes by so fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. So
Doesn't feel like work at all.
we're almost done. Do you guys want to get more awesome content from me? Then do me a favor and become a monthly sponsor. Our monthly sponsors are sustaining us, as well as like our, Lear Capital deals. We've also got some more. We've got some more sponsorships coming in, but we really do well because of the monthly donors.
Yeah.
The monthly donors get perks and benefits and prizes and all kinds of fun stuff just for being like a $2.99 a month supporter. You can join over on the YouTube channel.
You get entered into monthly drawings.
Yeah.
For gifts from our shop. And
Yeah.
buying from our shop also helps too.
Yeah, visiting the AP for Liberty shop, for example, we've got Wake Up America Show merch. I mean, we are really doing, pulling out all the breaks here to grow this show.
Yeah, not putting all of our eggs in one basket.
Right.
Sure.
We have monthly supporters. We have Lear Capital. I just talked to an ad agency the other day. I'm very excited. I think we're going to bring on a CBD company, as well as a health food company.
I love health food.
Then like a tax service that's going to come in as well to help people to get the money that's owed to them from the IRS.
Right. It's like, if we have to do taxes, we might as well get as much money as we can back.
Exactly.
That's ours.
So that's exciting, but it's those monthly support donors things give us the kind of financial security to ensure that we know next month, no problem. The Wake Up America show is going to keep going.
Right.
We do 5, 10, 15. We do 20 shows a month.
5 days a week.
5 days a week. So 5 days a week, that's 20 shows a month. So 2-hour shows. And then not only do we do that, but I cut content from the program. And I've created a new series called The Guns of the Presidents.
That's right.
And that's been going very well.
Yeah.
So those monthly sustaining donors give us the kind of financial security that we need to be able to sit down and after the show is over, start producing more content for you guys. And it's going very well. So thank you very much for your support. If you are, so for example, Brandon Meyer over there, he's got the gold bars next to his name. A.N. Henry, she's got the gold bars. She's got the Statue of Liberty next to her name. So those are monthly supporters from the YouTube channel.
That's
And
how you can tell them apart from others.
exactly. And you can do it at $2.99 a month or $9.99 a month. And that is, you get the little, you get the emojis. and all the other fun stuff, as well as a 20% discount over at the
Yep.
shop.
You get
So
a special
yeah.
secret code to
Yeah.
use at the shop.
And I know that some of our listeners are like, well, I know YouTube takes a cut of that, so they would prefer to just give us the whole pie.
Yeah.
And they can do that at Square. So the easiest way to do that, if you're like, I want to become a monthly sponsor, but I don't want to give any of it to YouTube,
Right.
we will get a higher percentage if you do it on our website.
wakeupAmericaShow.com/support.
Correct. So at the wakeupAmericaShow.com/support page, you can do a one-time donation there, or you can do a monthly support level, and then you get all the same perks. You get entered into the monthly prize drawings. If you become a Petersen's Patriot level supporter, then you do get like a free keychain and things like that. So there are like benefits and all of that kind of stuff for it. So all right, so let's talk about Andrew Tate again. So this story that I read yesterday in Vice magazine, it disturbed you deeply, and we're going to use instead of the word that we would use, we're going to say grape.
Yes.
The headline is this: I love graping you. What Andrew Tate told a woman who accused him of grape. Vice News obtained WhatsApp messages by Andrew Tate sent to a woman who accused him of grape. She said police told her they believed her account, but authorities declined to prosecute. The text message you sent this woman was, I love graping you.
Yes. Yeah, they said they can't move along with the case because there's an ounce of doubt.
Mm-hmm.
They can't completely prove what happened.
Mm.
And so with this woman, they call her Amelia, I
Mhm.
believe in the article, just to hide her identity. But she basically shared things that he said to her. And she said he did grape her while they were dating.
Mm-hmm.
So without her consent. She told him she didn't want to do it, and she said that he did. She did continue dating him after that happened.
But that does happen.
That does. Sometimes it takes time for you to really process that you've been through a trauma and to actually deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she pretty much froze
Mm-hmm.
when she was traumatized, which happens. There's fight, flight, or freeze.
What do you think of this Andrew Tate character?
I think he's a sadist.
What is that?
I think that means he gets pleasure out of seeing others suffer and others being in pain.
Mm-hmm.
Just the things that he says, he enjoyed seeing her not liking to be graped.
Mm-hmm.
He was choking her apparently.
Yes, some of the videos that have come out, I've actually, seen, and admittedly, some of the women that were in these videos have come out and defended him and said that this was consensual, which, if that's the case, that's fine. It's not legal, right?
Kink community is out there for sadists.
Mm-hmm.
So that really is a thing, and it's a fantasy for a lot of people.
Sure, spank me,
Right. Only if it's consensual, that's okay.
For sure. What do you think of this Andrew Tate character in general?
I think that he's a narcissist because he thinks he's entitled to treat people this way, and he doesn't really care about the effect he has when he behaves so aggressively towards women, especially. I don't know how he behaves towards men.
Right.
I haven't really seen those interactions.
He tries to be a motivational speaker for men, to teach other men how to act like he acts and to do what he does. And he has this whole hustle university thing where he tries to show men how to like get lots of women and things like that.
He's a pickup artist.
Pickup artist, yeah. That's
Right.
pretty good explain. And also, he's a pornographer because he ran like cams, like cam girl websites and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, and the fact that he moved to Romania just to avoid the Me Too movement and they don't take consent as seriously.
Right.
I mean, that's very twisted to move to another country for that reason.
Anne Henry says that she's going to be skeptical of any woman that makes these claims about someone who has a high profile.
Absolutely.
For
So
sure.
we definitely.
But also remember that people who are in high profile positions tend to be more sadomasochistic and weird and psychopaths, if you will.
I mean, don't they say that presidents tend to be more narcissistic?
Yeah. Matt Unruly
Have those tendencies?
Matt Unruh says he's so ready to stop hearing about Andrew Tate. I am too, but here's the problem. Go look at the views on my shorts that I cut talking about Andrew Tate.
The problem is that society is not ready to stop talking about Andrew Tate.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wish that we could sit down and have deep, big brain philosophical discussions about the biggest topics of the day. And, we do that a lot more here. I saw Brandon Meyer was talking about how he had to leave some group to join us and listen to our show in the morning, some hub, or I don't know what he's talking about. But we do offer a lot of brain food here, but we are not immune to the pressures of the marketplace.
Well, I will say something that probably does apply to some of our viewing audience.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people in this world have been sexually assaulted in their life.
And that is an important topic.
This is a real problem
Mm-hmm.
in our society. And the thing is that you do have a voice. You can tell your story.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up.
I love it. You're such a nice
Absolutely,
motivational
because
speaker, Stephanie.
so many people feel silenced and they feel like they can't speak out against their attackers, the
Mhm.
people that hurt them.
Mhm.
But it's okay to speak out and to fight for yourself.
I love that, Stephanie. That's such a nice message. All right. So let's I'd like to move on actually, because I know that that some people are tired of it. And it is kind of like, it's one of those icky topics.
Right. It's not exactly happy.
Right. So look, should we continue our conversation about the book? Let's get back to the brain food.
Sure.
It is like, it is fun to talk about conspiracy theories, isn't it?
It is.
Okay, so we're going to continue our discussion about conspiracy theories that we believe versus ones that we don't believe. I haven't gotten yet to a conspiracy theory that I believe. So obviously I don't believe in any of the anti-Semitic ones. I don't believe in any of the biblical
So I guess
conspiracy
the
theories.
alien ones you
Well,
slightly believe.
Slightly believe,
Right.
yes. So what about, this is one we're going to have a fun one. Anti-fluoridation.
Okay. Well, I do drink only spring water.
No, you don't. You drink water at home. That's
Well,
lies.
Changed a little bit, but years ago, I only drank spring water, not
Okay.
even purified water,
Because you were
purified
terrified
water
of
didn't get the fluoride out
Mhm.
of it. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, I did catch on to that conspiracy theory.
Okay, so you were a believer in the water fluoridation conspiracy.
I was. I was
Yes.
like, why should you swallow fluoride? I didn't understand that.
Well, the idea is scientifically is that it makes your teeth stronger.
Right. So put it on your teeth. Don't swallow it.
So the
That's
way
what I
the way
say.
the government looks at it is like
Mhm.
this, and this is why governments do it. It is one of the most expensive and most easily preventable forms of healthcare is dental.
Yeah.
It's and so if the government is good, the government sees it this way. I'm not saying I agree with them, but the government says that if you are if you got all messed up teeth and you've got diseases of the mouth, you're going to go and be a burden on the healthcare system,
Correct.
right? So it's cheaper to fluoridate the water so
Uh-huh.
that people have stronger teeth.
So there's a
than
motive, a government motive.
Yeah, that they do it. They call this libertarian paternalism. I've been talking about this theory. This idea is that it costs them less money to fluoridate the water than it does for them to pay for the healthcare costs of a population of people with bad teeth.
Right.
Right. So, and sometimes fluoride is naturally occurring in wells and things like that. And and that's kind of how they noticed that fluoride was, beneficial to our teeth because they found that people who had wells with natural occurring fluoridation had healthier teeth. And so they're like, oh, well, let's just do this to the water supply. The problem is that the fluoride conspiracy, it relies on some of the same like misunderstandings most people have about dosages.
Right.
Right.
Because how much fluoride do you really have to ingest
Right.
that would
Fluoride
bring you harm?
Fluoride is a poison, right?
Yeah.
But so is water at a high enough dosage.
Right. You can flood your lungs.
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
Well, not just flood your lungs. I mean, if you drink enough water, you'll poison yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Because too much hydrogen and oxygen, it will poison you.
Mhm.
So with fluoride, it's the same thing. You can drink fluoride, just only in certain trace amounts.
Right.
And
So I think that's where we just take it and run with it because we say fluoride, bad.
Right.
Don't have it at all.
Right.
Just like formaldehyde with
Mhm.
vaccines. Formaldehyde, bad. Don't have it
Yeah.
at all. Right?
Well, Manners says, sounds like medical treatment without informed consent to me is a crime against humanity. You have informed consent. You can drink spring water. You
Right,
can
which
buy
I
you can
choose-
buy
I have
Nestle.
chosen
Everybody
to
knows that the
do.
water's fluoridated. So I mean, it's not that it's not
Right.
informed consent. It's not like people have no clue what's in the water.
Right.
You know what's in the water. Fluoride's in the
So
water.
really, it is a real conspiracy that the government does
It's not
put
a conspiracy
fluoride in the
because
water.
that would mean that it was a crime.
Right.
A conspiracy is a crime.
Okay.
It's not a crime for government water supplies to create fluoridated water.
Mhm.
If you don't want the government fluoridated water, go get unfluoridated water from. You have to buy your water no matter what. So go buy your water from a private supplier that doesn't fluoridate it. People who are anti-fluoride do that, and that's
Right.
fine. You should be free to do
but
that.
it is a fact. There is fluoride in the water.
Yes.
So that's true.
Right, which is good for you.
And so, yeah, the thing that we
Then-
debate on is it good for you or not?
It
That's
is.
where people are divided.
It is. The science is settled. I'm just triggering people like crazy. All right, vaccines is the next one. You
Oh,
used
boy.
to be a big anti-vaxxer, didn't you?
I was an anti-vaxxer.
But you were kind of like coaxed into that, like from.
Yeah, I mean, I hung around somebody who was very much into conspiracy
Mm-hmm.
theories, and I exposed myself to Alex Jones a lot.
Yeah.
So
And he just so happens to sell those water filters too.
yes,
Isn't that a nice little gig,
Well, people like me who were afraid, I would totally buy into that stuff.
Terrify
It
the shit out.
worked. Fear works.
Terrify the shit out of you, so the cure.
Yes.
There you go. Next one. Oh, vaccination. Oh, so I guess I'll just say I'm, very, very pro-vax. Always been for choice. Should absolutely be a choice. But, I'm glad that polio is not around anymore, for example.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I say I'm a skeptic.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
do your research, talk to your doctors.
Yeah. Doug H says, my municipality does not add fluoride to the water. We have no gay frogs in Independence. That's
Where
hilarious.
do you live?
Independence.
I need to move there.
Yeah, Independence.
Oh,
It's not. Yeah, that's where I was born.
this is amazing.
Independence, Missouri. All right, more conspiracy theories. Secret cancer cures. That's a common one.
Secret. Oh, like holistic.
Yeah, well, yeah. So like, just just chew on some monk's root and, you can cure cancer. Or marijuana will cure
Right.
cancer.
Some people say large levels of cannabinoid oil.
Yeah, will
I
shrink
believe.
tumors and things like
Mhm.
that. Yeah, so more conspiracy theories. Which ones do we believe in? Let's see. Artificial diseases. Never heard of that one. Oh,
Artificial diseases.
yeah, and then there's another one, the invention and spread of AIDS. So like there's a lot of
monkeys, right?
yeah, and well, the theory is, and we're not 100% certain on it, is that people were eating bush meat,
Yes.
so they ate monkeys,
Okay.
and that they
I've heard that before.
yeah, so that was it's not to say that they don't that's 100% for sure, but the most likely theory. But there are people who believe that Anthony Fauci created AIDS in a lab and spread it and all that kind of stuff.
Well, didn't they say COVID was caused by people eating bats?
They did it first, yeah,
Right.
but that one got debunked pretty quickly, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But remember when we all saw the bat soup and stuff like that? Because people were eating bats.
Saw videos on the internet of people
Yeah.
eating bats, so we really started believing that.
Yeah, for sure. So that was a conspiracy theory that people were eating bats, and it was wrong. Now we know that they created that shit in a lab. All right, let's see. More conspiracy theories here. Big Pharma. I kind of believe in that one. I do think that
That drugs are being pushed.
well, the big major manufacturers of pharmaceuticals, that are using are abusing the public trust by overprescribing things like opioids and
Absolutely. I mean, you see the drug companies wheeling their little backpacks into medical institutions, giving their sales pitch
Yeah.
and free samples, saying,
And-
"Hey,
and I'm
give
someone-
this to your patients."
right. And here's the thing: I'm not somebody who says that the profit motive is a bad thing. All right, I think that capitalism is fine, but I do think that needs to be balanced with a sense of responsibility when it comes to the medical profession. And with people. Here's the thing: if you're a libertarian and you believe on ending the war on drugs, then essentially, then how can you say, oh well, I think that black tar heroin should be totally legal, and marijuana should be totally fine to buy on every street corner, but how dare big pharma push opioids on people? Blah blah blah. Right. Right. So how can you have those two disparate points of view? But people are very good at hiding their cognitive dissonance. Right. It's like the anti-vaxxer community right now is out there and probably trending on Twitter right now. # stop the shots. Stop the shots. Okay, wait a minute. So stop people from taking a voluntary vaccination, but allow them to buy black tar heroin, right? And I also kind of pointed out the inconsistencies in a lot of people's beliefs. So like during the pandemic when conservatives were going down to the Tractor Supply and buying ivermectin.
Yes, we saw it there when
Yeah,
we
remember?
went. And there
Remember?
was a sign saying don't buy
Don't
it
buy
for
this,
human
not for
use.
human consumption.
Uh-huh.
It was, it's ivermectin, right?
Mhm.
And it was like, I believe people should have been allowed to take ivermectin. Better to go to a doctor
Or
to get it.
what
But
was Trump saying, to inject bleach?
no,
Or
that was
something?
kind of a misnomer. But
Oh,
like it was
okay.
like hydroxychloroquine, right?
Uh-huh.
Which has chlorine in it to an
Oh,
extent.
okay.
But the thing with the ivermectin was that I was telling the conservatives who are for the war on drugs are like, we got to prosecute everybody who's bringing fentanyl into this country, and
Mhm.
we got to stop people from going and being, we can't let people buy weed, and we can't let people do all this kind of stuff. All of a sudden, conservatives who wanted to buy ivermectin
Mhm.
were prevented from doing so because doctors would not prescribe it to people.
Right.
And so I said to them, and I remember the conservatives, like, it blew their minds. I was like, this is a side effect of the war on drugs. You should be allowed to go and purchase medical grade ivermectin if you want. I go, because we should end the war on drugs, and you should be able to purchase any of these drugs that you want. Right? But unfortunately, people, have too much cognitive dissonance, so they're not able to sort of,
We pick and choose
right.
which things we like.
Yeah, yep. All right, so moving on to more conspiracy theories that we believe or not believe in. Science and technology, weather and earthquake control. That was the HARP.
HARP.
Yes.
I did believe in that as well.
Really?
I did.
Like earthquakes and things like that? What's the motives
Because
there?
wasn't HARP originally created to make certain weather patterns for war to make it harder for other people to attack us?
I'm not getting into the HARP conspiracy. All right, it's just too much. All right, global warming. Now that's one that I believe in. Is that there is an overarching communist conspiracy, and that global warming is a way to centralize power in the hands of a small elite. It's essentially that when communism failed after the end of the Cold War, that global warming is a way for governments to expand their power and to tax people and to have more control over our energy supply because they're Malthusian. They want to depopulate the earth. The more energy grows and the more access we have to fossil fuels and coal and nuclear and all these energy sources, the more humanity flourishes.
Right. It's always motives.
Yes, and I believe that the global elite want to depopulate. I believe that for them the answer to climate change and global warming is to have fewer people on this planet, rather than to find better energy sources or to build nuclear plants.
They don't want to be innovative.
Yeah, so that's a conspiracy theory that I believe in. Is that the global elite want a smaller population because they think that the world is, the globe is heating up.
Now, I'm no scientist, but
Neither
is
am I.
it true that the globe is warming technically?
It depends on who you ask, and the question is it warming? There are trends that show that we are a few degrees warmer in general than we have been, 100, 150 years ago.
So that's where the global warming enthusiasts take it and run with it because they say, look at that fact.
Well, here's the thing. But here's the thing. Get your facts straight first, then we can distort them as you please. The problem with that is that you can take statistics and facts and make them say whatever you want. I can make anything on paper say whatever I want if I want to go and cherry pick data and present it, right?
Right.
It's like Al Gore used to show that hockey stick of warming and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, here's the problem is that you have to make an assumption that that's bad.
Right.
The assumption is
Is
that
it
it's
bad that it's getting warmer? How is that affecting us?
Well, here's the thing. What if it's not? What if it's actually better? More people die every year from freezing to death than they do of heat.
Right.
So
That's what they say, but the polar bears are dying.
They're not. The polar bears are actually on the increase.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're talking about
again, that's a fact that you could bring up in a debate.
Yes.
When somebody says polar bears are at risk.
Free energy. That's another one that basically the energy companies are all conspiring to prevent us from having free unlimited energy. Next one is that
Are we entitled to energy? Are we entitled to free internet?
Well, that's why it's utilities, right? So they say that utilities are public utilities rather than private. So there are some private utilities. Okay, then the other types of conspiracies, I'm going to have to hurry through these because we're getting to the end. Suspicious deaths. Who really killed JFK, Robert Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Jimmy Hoffa, Princess Diana, Kurt Cobain, and so on. Marilyn Monroe, Tupac Shakur.
I'm going to leave that to the detectives and the police.
Notorious B.I.G., yeah, for me. Government false flag operations, Pearl Harbor, Gulf of Tonkin, 9/11, FEMA prison camps, MK Ultra,
FEMA, that's a big one.
QAnon, the rigged election, and the deep state, and then secret organizations, Bilderberg Group, Council on Foreign Relations, Freemasons, Illuminati, Knights Templar, IMF, World Bank, New World Order, Priory of Zion, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Trilateral Commission, Zionist occupation government, meaning that the Jews are running our government, QAnon, and the deep state. I do believe in the deep state.
There has never been a Jewish president.
Steffi, you're right. If the Jews really are trying to take over the world, they're not doing a very good job up
Then
there.
where are we?
Yeah, the Jews have not had a president of the United States yet.
No.
Think we ever will?
I'll be the first Jewish female president.
There she is. She's almost old enough.
Yes, I'm almost 35.
Almost 35 years old. All right, we got to run, guys. It was a great show, a great week, and thank you, Stephanie, for coming on Family Friday.
I hope you all had fun.
Yep, thank you very much for visiting the show today, and don't forget to become a monthly sponsor if you can at wakeupamerica.com/support. Do us a favor, visit the AP for Liberty shop at apforlibertyshop.com. Get yourself some awesome merch. Got some new stuff up there coming up this week. All right, Deep State has so much coming true. Yes, it does. We'll have to visit that one next week. Charmed One, Matt Unruh, Doug H., Manners, John Knox, Dustin, R. Volt 24, Tolly Owens, Camellia Petersen, Elizabeth Press, Brandon Meyer, Doug H., Robbie Theraman, all of our friends this morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're grateful to have you here. We love you guys. Great show. Enjoy your weekend. We will. I'm going to go take a nice little break. Chris Morrill, we love you guys. Appreciate you very much. It's people like you that keep the Wake Up America show on the air. Stephanie, say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
See you later, guys.
Again.
Yeah, we're going to do something fun. We're going to go party with our friends. Get all drunk. No, just kidding. See you Monday.
Sure.
See you Monday on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
I like shooting things, but whenever I can't shoot something, I like to cut things. My life isn't all about shooting and stabbing and cutting, though. Sometimes I have to do actual work, but when I work, I still like to have fun. And there's nothing less fun than trying to cut with a crappy knife. Thankfully, from the ancient sect of Christian knights, who also loved cutting and stabbing, comes a new implement that has received my personal blessing, the Templar knife. Like the ancient sword of Excalibur, you don't choose a Templar knife, it chooses you. You just decide what kind you want on the website first, however, and then order it online, and then it chooses you. The Templar knife comes in a variety of shapes. As a man of culture and taste, I have decided I will never use a terrible knife again. And thanks to the inspiration provided by this excellent product, I have decided to launch a new crusade against anyone using less than superior knives. Join me, brothers and sisters, by visiting uppercuttactical.com/pages/Templar-knives. That's a lot of slashes. For that, you'll need a Templar knife. For 10% off, use code AP for Liberty and join me in a quest for glory, for liberty, for Christendom, for the Templar knife. Get yours today. Fire.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Petersen stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apforlibertyshop.com With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit apforlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.